Something that I've noticed over my 5 years here is that autumn kind of sneaks up on you and then moves right past you. The days are warm and sunny. The leaves hold their green for a long time, and then suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere, it's cold and winter time. And it's not often that I see leaves changing color, at least not where I live. Most commonly, the leaves stay green, and then suddenly they just die and fall off the trees. It's not everywhere, but I've noticed it here more than anywhere I've spent autumn. I'm not really sure what the reason is, but I find it fascinating. It probably has something to do with how little it rains at this time of year, and that the ground likely doesn't hold water because it drains into the lake. But in any case, there doesn't seem to be any long, drawn-out fall foliage like I've seen in other places in the world. And to be honest, I kind of missed that. There are a few things in this country that really signify the transition into winter. The temperature drops more significantly when the sun goes down. The leaves start dying, but the most telling is the smell in the air as soon as the sun goes down. Everyone starts lighting fires. Many people still use wood fires to warm their homes, which they've started doing due to the changes in the temperature. But more than that, people will light fires in their fields or gardens. And in these fires, they'll burn whatever has been lying around, maybe tree trimmings, or whatever is left after a harvest, or even their trash.
I don't know if you can see it, but there's ash falling from the sky. See, like this guy. Coming from that fire over there.
So you know winter is on its way when the smell of burning plastic fills the air. The kind of smell that just burns your nostrils, and it leaves a low-hanging haze over the entire city. Back when I first got to Albania, I applied and was given a 5-year residence permit. Well, because it's been 5 years since then, I've been going through the process of renewing that permit. So on a Tuesday morning, I went with some coworkers to Korçë to finalize the application. The process took about 10 minutes. Just had to sign a few things, get my photo taken, and be fingerprinted. Then I was told to come back in 2 weeks to pick up the card. So the nonprofit organization that I work for has a project in another city called Gjirokastër, which is further south in Albania, kind of close to Greece. About twice a year, I make the drive down there to take some updated photos for our archive and to hear any updates from the project. This time, some friends and coworkers went along that hadn't been in Gjirokastër in decades, if ever. So after we had visited the soup kitchen and gotten the work part out of the way, we went for a walk through the cobblestone streets of the old town. We had a nice dinner and visited the castle, which has existed in some way since before the 12th century. And I had a deadline for a client, so I edited video in the back seat as we drove home through the night. I'll be totally honest. I've been in this house for 5 weeks, and at this point, it's starting to wear on me. It's hard to fully relax when I know I'm in someone else's home. It's hard to sleep past 6 or 7 in the morning when I know I have to get up to let the dogs out of the kennel.
Good morning.
Because the owners haven't fully moved into this house yet, all their belongings aren't here, which means there aren't many places to sit comfortably. I spend a lot of time sitting at the desk, and occasionally I will sit on the couch and watch some stuff on my computer screen. But the couch isn't the most comfortable either. Most of all, though, I'm just ready to be back in my own home. I still go usually about once a week to water my plants and hang out and watch sports or something, but knowing that I have to drive back out to this house puts a damper on it, makes it harder to relax at my apartment. None of this is to say that I dislike it here. It's probably because I've been dealing with some other frustrations in my life at the moment, and when that happens, I want to go to where I can totally relax, but this house isn't that place for me, simply because it's not mine. But I'm over halfway through the sit, and I'm determined to finish it well. And a small thing that makes it a bit easier is when people come to hang out, especially when there's a game on and delicious food being shared. Something else that I'm finding frustrating at the moment is my lack of progression in the goals I had set for myself while being here. I'm over halfway through this experience, and I don't feel like I've gotten any better at playing the guitar or learning the Albanian language. I do understand that both things are difficult and take time, but I would have expected that spending time almost every day for the last 5 weeks would have yielded some kind of results. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Too often people want instant gratification, or maybe not always instant, but quick, and I'm no different. It's taken a number of months of dedicated dieting to drop the weight I've dropped. It's taken multiple years of time spent in the gym for me to feel like my body actually looks closer to what my goal is. So it follows that learning a language and an instrument are similar. And I knew that from the beginning. It's just a bit harder to accept when you're in the middle of it and the surge of motivation has worn off. And then one day, about 2 weeks after submitting it, my new residence permit was ready. So I went back to Korçë to grab it. This little piece of plastic that now allows me to legally reside in the country for as long as I choose. It's the first step in the process of obtaining citizenship in this little country in the Balkans. And then one weekend, a friend of mine from work had to drive to Thessaloniki to pick up someone from the airport. He asked if I wanted to go and stay overnight somewhere before swinging by the airport and coming back. Of course, I said yes.
Good morning, puppies. Happy early morning. How are you guys this excited every morning? Especially when it's 5:30. It's like, people can tell what it is, at least partly. Moment of truth, we find out. We find out how busy the border is.
As soon as you cross the border from Albania to Greece, so much changes. The road opens up to a big, well-maintained highway as you start coming down from the mountains. Making this drive soon after the sun had risen added so much to the beauty of the journey. And we got to Thessaloniki after a few hours, but the place I'd found for us to stay was outside of the city. So we just drove through and admired some of the sights from the car before stopping for lunch and a walk by the beach. There's a smell. Maybe it's a bakery, maybe it's a restaurant, I don't know. But there's a little bit of like a, you can smell the sea a little bit, and then just like a fresh, I don't know, feels very comfort smell. I saw the longer stretch of sun over here. Ooh, yeah. And then we headed to our accommodation for the night. A beautiful little group of rooms perched on top of a cliff overlooking the bay with a view of Thessaloniki on the opposite shore. Yeah, exactly. Just like that. I don't know if it'll connect, but it's Angel Bay 1, 2, 3. This place is insane. Yeah. This is crazy, man. Still feels nice though.
little thing that you can attach the camera to. It's fine.
They even had their own private beach that we could relax at during the afternoon. The water wasn't cold,
Ready?
but it wasn't exactly warm either.
Whew. That wasn't so bad.
No, once you're in, it's fine.
Oh, these rocks are kind of sharp though.
Yeah.
And we spent the rest of the day on the beach and sitting on the hillside watching the light of the sun fade from the mountains in the distance as the lights of the city slowly illuminated. And I think this is just what I needed, some truly relaxing time away from my normal routine in the house. It helped me recharge and be able to take on the last few weeks before the owner's return. And it made me realize that maybe it's still a bit early to be concerned about what looks or feels like autumn. I really should be enjoying these moments that I'm in at that particular time, rather than dwelling on something that I can't control. Thanks for sticking with me. I'll be back soon.